I'm Vamba Sherif. I was born in Liberia and moved to Kuwait when I was in my early teens. And then when war broke out in Kuwait, I moved to the Netherlands, where I've been living since. I've written 5 novels. 2 of my novels are historical novels and 2 set in the present. And one of my novels is a crime fiction novel. Literature is my passion, although I studied law. Impact of literature on Liberia. Liberia has produced some writers, but they were not so eminent internationally. But I grew up with those writers like Wayton Sankawulo, Barty Moore, and I was very fortunate that one of my brothers had a huge collection of Heinemann African Writers series. And those are books that were not only about Anglophone Africa, but books set in Francophone Africa. So I grew up reading Simbine Usman, for example, Chinua Achebe, and Wole Soyinka, and the rest. My assessment of African literature is that the African literature is in a kind of Renaissance phase. We have writers who are internationally known now, and there are many of them. In the beginning, they were very limited. There were writers, you had Soyinka Achebe, Christopher Kibo in Nigeria, and in Liberia we had Wayton Sankawulo. But now you have many young writers who are not only in Nigeria but also in the diaspora who are writing, or not only in Africa but in the diaspora, who are writing fantastic novels. So it's a good thing for African literature now. Which way it will go, that's a question for the future. I cannot speculate on that, but I'm happy. I live in Holland and my first readers are Dutch, but my work is now beginning to find its way to readers outside of Holland. My book is published in English, in German, in French, in Spanish, and other languages. So there is a hope for African literature, I believe, in Africa and in the world, yes. About African writers writing political novels, I think you cannot escape it. In many of the countries in Africa, we are influenced by the politics that is happening in our countries. You cannot escape that. But not all of us who are writing about Africa were directly influenced by politics. There are some of us who were brought up in the diaspora who are writing novels set in the diaspora, but it's being termed African literature. And I think literature should not only be confined to one particular theme. I think we as writers should have the freedom to write about whatever subject that interests us. It doesn't necessarily has to be politics. It has to be different things. So it's if I write, for example, one of my novels is about a white man, although it involves Liberia, but the main character is a white man, because I just felt I had to write a novel that way. So it's yes, we should write about anything, everything, about women, about children, about the things that interest us most.